Hello everyone and welcome to a very special episode of the Mark and Me podcast. As always, I'm your host Mark. Now today's episode is a special dedicated to last weekend's ArcTanGent Festival near Bristol. For me, one of the best festivals in the world. I had an absolute blast from the moment I got there to the moment I left. I'm already missing it, I have the festival blues, and I can't wait to return for it all again next year. The festival isn't absolutely massive, and it's really good because it feels like one big family on site. There's no dickheads, everyone gets on really well, there's such a range of bands, and I think they have the most diverse bands, but it caters to everyone. It's amazing to see the range of bands that are playing, and I think on today's podcast I've got a bit of everything for everyone. So joining me on today's episode, I'm joined by 4 bands: Conjurer, Sugar Horse, Skin Failure, and the amazing Holy Fawn. So I really do believe I've got a bit of everything, and I really hope you all enjoy the interviews that are coming up very shortly. For me, ArcTanGent was a great time. I had some amazing times with some amazing friends, and I really did enjoy the whole weekend. The best part was as well, ArcTanGent invited me not only to do press like I have done all summer, but I actually had a live podcast with Mark and Me that was held on the Saturday morning, and do you know what? It was a great success. I interviewed Damien from the St. Pierre Snake Invasion, and the good thing is, if you weren't able to attend the festival, I've recorded that, and that will be released in just a couple of days' time. So if you're thinking, oh, I wonder how it sounded, it's going to be available all for you very soon. But like I said, today's episode I think has a bit of something for everyone. So I think the first thing we should do is kick off the interviews with the amazing Conjurer. So here's me and Conjurer talking all things ArcTanGent. How you doing, dude?
I'm great, yeah. I'm just post Kirsty's Metal Hand set, and
that tent this morning, I got on site, I was like, I want to check them out. I couldn't get in the tent, dude.
Yeah, it was silly. This collaboration was commissioned by the festival ArcTanGent 2017, 2018, and it's just been just really embraced by people as a bit of silliness outside of, you know, our 2 very serious bands, and I just can't believe people keep coming back for it. You know, it's
today was epic, my friend. Like,
yeah, it was good. You
must be fucking still absolutely high as a kite, thinking that was something special, especially this early as well in the day.
And it's just to get to play really joyous music
with
like my really good friends. Is, you know, I play miserable music with my good friends week in, week out, but to do something that is so, it's, you know, all about friendship and joy and, you know, living life and loving life. It's just, it's very silly, and it's nice. It feels really like the other side of the coin.
Amazing. It must be nice just to be just do something different. Like, let your hair down and just be like, do you know what? Like, let's just have fun and just do something completely different. Yeah. And then I can just go back at any point. Conjurer, hi guys, I'm back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, and it's cool that Dan, the other singer guitarist of Conjurer, does it with us. So it's like our little thing. You know,
it's cool, isn't it?
Last weekend we went up to Manchester to rehearse for this, and just, you know, driving up, chatting about the band, just like it's a really nice little escape from the big serious stuff.
No, it's awesome, dude. What I do with all the guests, and I'm nearly at 300 episodes now, I've had all different people from all different walks of life.
Yeah.
But what I really like to do is take it right back to the very beginning. So with all my guests, when you were a kid, do you remember those first albums that maybe you got passed down or you bought with your own pocket money that made you fall in love with music?
It's a funny thing, I wasn't massively into music as a child. So I was, I got at junior school, I got offered to take music lessons, and I went, they were like, well, pick what instrument you want. And I went down and I picked whatever was at the same time as the RE lessons, because I just hated it.
To get out of it. Genius.
So I ended up playing cello and got really into that and played in orchestras. And then my dad, who used to be into like punk and metal back in the day, he played me, I remember listening to Adam and the Ants on tape in a little tape deck in the back room of our house.
We're showing our age now on tape. Yeah. Everyone's like, who the fuck are these granddads?
Right, honestly.
Yeah.
And it was great, and I really got into that Kings of the Wild Frontier, that track especially. Unbelievable. Yeah. And it all kind of changed when I saw The Darkness for the first time. They were like the band that I was like, oh, this is cool. I want to be Justin Hawkins. Like, that's incredible. And I just decided to pick up a guitar, and then really still wasn't a huge music fan. I was into like Muse and Green Day and like
some awesome bands, man.
Yeah, amazing. But then I heard Bullet for My Valentine, and that was my first like metal band, and I was like, oh, I don't know what this is, but this is great. And that kind of like really opened the door to kind of like metalcore, and I was in metalcore bands for a while, and then kind of met Dan as I was getting into Gojira and Black Dahlia Murder and kind of the more advanced kind of metal, and we started Conjurer as we were starting to explore that and branch out, and I think it's just become a natural evolution of going down the rabbit hole into weirdness. And I think our records are a few years behind where our listening is, so every couple of years we listen to weirder stuff, and the music strays slightly further away from the kind of straight down the middle earlier stuff. I think
the foundations of a band like Gojira, their musicianship is 10 out of 10 on everything. Like,
unreal.
I can't ever enjoy a gig of theirs because I'm so glued to the drummer, and then I'm glued to the bassist, and I'm glued to the guitarist. You don't get many bands where those are just on par with each other on such a high level. I honestly, I find them mesmerizing. I just can't believe what they do.
Especially like they're from Master Sirius and The Way of All Flesh, and L'Enfant Sauvage, those three records really explain death metal to me in a way that I didn't really get anything with blast beats or anything that was too fast, and they do it in such an accessible way that's still honest and brutal and exciting, but is just it
seems on another level. Like the fact that they could come here and headline, they could go to Bloodstock, which they've done and headlined. They're surely a second stage download headliner, you know.
I think they're a main stage headliner in 5 to 10 years.
Yeah,
like
they've got to be handed that baton at some point.
And a band that can do that with blast beats and harsh vocals is just like, it's unreal. Like it is just a testament to the ethos of like, keep making music that you think is good and that is you're passionate about, and people will come. You know, if it is honest, I think people really respect that in this day and age, especially when there's so much dishonest music.
No, it's true, and it's genuine. They're not being told by the label to make it more pop sounding or extra produced. So with Conjurer, do you kind of take an influence from all the band members and their influences and kind of throw it all into a melting pot, do you think? Because you said an interesting point you said today was like you're 4 years behind, so like, is there going to be this experimental Radiohead phase you go through in 3 or 4 years with a bit more electronics and a bit more?
I would say yes and no to all of the above. Like when we first started, it was just myself and Dan that did all the writing, and then our original drummer and bassist came on board, and kind of the drummer got more involved. And we always like to say everything's an equal split 4 ways. Dan definitely does the majority of the songwriting, and I do the majority of the everything else to do with the band. So we kind of have that dynamic going. I think that, especially for the upcoming third record that we've started to work on, we are trying to follow Dan's vision a little bit more strictly, and not in a, no one else can contribute, but really trying to. They have such an artistic idea of what they want to do with it, and it is so well formed, and it feels really exciting and visceral listening to the stuff that they've written, and I think we're just trying to execute that really well and just do something that feels really exciting for us. I think that is the goal, is to continue making music that is exciting to the 4 of us. And
that must be hard because you kind of all got different personalities, you've got all different backgrounds. I know you're kind of on the same page, but at times someone will want it to be less heavy, or someone will want a bit more oomph. So it's the personalities and the mindsets and not the egos, but the songwriting. To have it even, I always think it's impossible. Like, someone's got to take the flame and run.
Yeah, I think that some bands it works, other bands, it is one person with some session musicians.
Yeah,
essentially.
of course.
We definitely try to strike a balance, and I think that Dan is just one of the most phenomenal musicians and songwriters I've ever met. So it comes so naturally to them in a way that is really hard to quantify. And like, as someone like myself, I'm a perfectly serviceable guitarist. You know, I can play the songs, but like watching them play is like truly watching an artist. And I think when you have that in the band, you have to harness it. You have to foreground it, and that's something that has always naturally happened. But I think, they are definitely way more in the bands like Swans and bands like Chat Pile and the kind of like more left field, experimental, exciting stuff in that realm. That kind of road band scene is really where Dan is at home, and I think that there is a want from them to take that approach and that kind of sound and make it accessible to kids that grew up on metalcore, which is us, and that has always been the formula. I think it just started with, well, let's draw from Mastodon and Gojira and Converge, and then it was like, well, let's draw from Converge and Imperial Triumphant and some other good band. Now it's like, well, let's draw from Chat Pile and Swans, and like it's slowly taking those steps away, but always remaining true to that. We want it to feel exciting, and none of it is just thrown in there to be there. Everything is trimmed, everything is vital to the song, and it's exciting. Like the new stuff we've written gets me just as excited as the last two records did, but in a slightly different direction.
That's good, and I suppose for any band, people that come along to your shows want to hear the hits, want to hear the songs that you're most proud of, that they're
not gonna hear them.
got the most. But the fact is, with your tour announcement later on this year, you've got a short UK tour, and is that a good time for you to start introducing the new songs in the set? Are you kind of playing them in rehearsal at the moment, thinking how are we going to bring them in?
Nothing new has got to a practice room yet, so we've done a lot of demos, a lot of firing those back and forth, and we have the material for 6 or 7 songs and the structure of about 2. So it's really quite early process. I would like to say middle of next year we will have the real structure and the bones of the record together.
Okay.
I would like to then start playing some of it live at kind of like festivals next year.
So we're still like a good 12 months off yet.
Easily. I think we're going to record it end of next year is roughly the plan. But between now and then we're going to we've got a new Kirsty's Metal Hands song, so we're going to maybe either do a new single or a new EP or something.
Yeah. We've
got a collaboration project that we're working on with a Canadian band that is going to be folk covers.
I was not expecting that, dude.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting, but like super visceral and horrible and doomy.
That's already sold it to me. I love that.
Yeah.
Visceral and quite folky and...
Yeah. But yeah, we just
so you're busy. You got.
Yeah, we're busy, and like I'm off touring with other bands, and trying to work with people. We're just trying to keep it fresh and exciting, and not rush the records. Like we want to not have like a 5-year gap between albums like we did last time, but also I know if we force ourselves to put a record out next year, it won't be good. And we won't be able to give it the time it needs.
And you can never go back and change that. So
exactly.
The worst ever would be to have this album that you're like, ugh, like this sounds rushed. That song shouldn't be like that. That bit there shouldn't sound like that.
Yeah.
Fuck, and it's there. It's out there.
Yeah, we'll do it next time.
Yeah,
I'm not into that. If we're gonna do it,
that's not you, is it?
No, it's not any of us. If we're gonna do it, if we're gonna put our name to it, it will be the best version of whatever that thing is we could have possibly done, and then we'll move on. I think if you're that band that repeats yourself over and over, all you're saying is, I could have done better last time.
Yeah.
If you're trying to do the same thing, like I'm not interested.
Stay like that, dude, because it's also it's humble, but it's also ambitious because you don't want to just rest and play it safe.
It's boring. It doesn't excite us. We're already the second we put a record out, we're like, let's get some new songs in the set.
We're really sat on them for a while then, haven't you?
Yeah.
You've recorded, you've produced, you've sent demos, you've made them into songs. You're kind of like, okay, fans, here's it, and you're going to get all excited now, but we're bored. Like, next. Yeah.
Oh, that's what we tried, especially the set this weekend for the Conjurer show. We really tried to mix up. We played a song. We played the Maya off the album Maya that we've not played live together as this lineup or since 2019. You know, just to do something a bit fresh and do something. You know, for a lot of the people at ArcTanGent have been following our band pretty much since the start. You know, it was one of the first festivals to really embrace us, and people have seen us 5, 6, 7 times. Like, I think at that point, when I saw Converge last night, I'm like, I don't just want you to play all the singles. I want to hear stuff. Like, I've seen this band 6 times. Like, I want to hear exciting things. And obviously, we haven't got that depth of back catalogue, but we can do what we can do.
Definitely.
And even just mixing up the set order, and it was nice. And it's nice to have a festival that is so accepting of, hey, we're going to play 3 of our longest songs just for fun today, and it's not going to be all bangers. It's just going to be something a bit more cerebral.
Does it feel like home here?
Yeah, 100%. It is hands down my favourite festival in the world. I've been saying this for years. The ethos of the owner James in his bookings, the layout, the way it functions here, it is just so unlike anything else other than, I guess, 2000 Trees. Yeah. It's just it feels like home for us, and it is such a welcoming, exciting crowd.
It is, and the moment you step on site, there's no dickheads, there's no attitudes, there's no morons, and it's one big family. And it is. The bands are mixing with everyone, there's no divide between the crowd and the bands performing, and I fucking love it. Like, you're just walking around having fun, checking bands out. Yeah. Like, it doesn't get much better than that.
That's all it should be as well. I just like there's no industry bullshit like you get at some other festivals.
No, it's true. And I always love, I know we mentioned 2000 Trees, but that feels just like a holiday. There's so many good bands, a lot more radio-friendly or commercial bands. You get to see Thrice and Jimmy Eat World and all this. You come here and I discover bands. I'm like, I can't pretend I know every single band on the poster, because I'm like, who the fuck are these? But I can just walk into a tent, and then for the next 2 weeks I've got a playlist of brand new music that I never knew.
That's what everyone says that came. Like, I spoke to a guy the other night. He was like, I'm here on my own. I come on my own every year. I just make new friends and just go check out bands. And it's like,
how good is that?
It's insane. I love it.
It's amazing, man.
Yeah, I think we're really lucky as a country to not only have this festival, but have a festival this weird, be as stable and as like
it's on a big scale as well. Like, it's a lot of tickets. It's always really close to selling out. The lineup is so diverse. Yeah, and I just love it, man. I'm already excited for next year.
Yeah, me too. We're already gonna book the same Airbnb we were in for this one. We were like, it's just around the corner. This is great. I don't care if we're playing or not. I'm gonna be here because this is where I would be if we weren't playing. You know,
it's fucking awesome, man. What I do on the podcast to try and keep it as fresh as I can and make it just stand out is every guest that's been on, every single person gets the same final question. So as this is all edited and the world's ready to listen to us talking, as it ends, you choose the final piece of music that's played.
Oh, lovely.
So I put you on the spot, and everyone in a band struggles because they're like, I've got 10 million songs in my head, I've got 1,000. But what I like is the reason why the song came to you first. So some people say like desert island songs, or what's the song you'd have at your wedding or funeral, but what's the song that you really love, that you're passionate about, that after this is all edited, it just plays and it feels like that's your song?
That's some pressure there.
I'm not going to be nice and, let it edit and push pause, give you an hour,
really respect,
and then you email me in a week. But
yeah, that's great.
It's going to change, and probably in an hour you'll come up to me and be like, oh, by the way, I've just thought, actually, can I change my choice? Like, and then you'll go to bed tonight at 2 a.m. You'll wake up and be like, why didn't I pick this? Yeah. But it's good because I've had people come on genuinely and pick Rolling Stones, the Beatles, Okay, I've had people come on and pick a B-side by Yoko Ono that was 21 minutes long, and I'm like, you're taking the piss, but fine, that's fucking mental. But I like discovering new bands, I like discovering old classics. But what's the one that's kind of tickling in that head right now?
I'm going to say For Free by Kendrick Lamar.
I was not expecting that, dude.
Yeah. Hip-hop is really where my passions are within music. Like, obviously it's metal, but like my day-to-day listening is very rarely metal. And his record, To Pimp a Butterfly from 2009, was hands down maybe the best record of all time. Like it's definitely top 5, no question.
Big words.
But yeah, for just like experimental, art forward hip hop that still has bangers. It's lyrical. It's musically incredible. It's just an absolute masterpiece. But track 2 for free. The first time I heard it, I lost my mind because track 1 is maybe what you'd expect from a hip hop record. It's weird. It's exciting. Track 2 comes in, it just breaks you. Have you listened to this album?
Do you know what, dude? I was just sitting here now, and I will never bullshit anyone on this podcast. I'll put my hands up. I've never listened to much Kendrick Lamar.
Okay.
So what I normally do now is I go home, I edit, I find the track on Spotify, I listen, I'm like, that's cool, add it into the episode, and then I'm like, oh, I like this, because I listened to it a few times, so it's a cut-off point. I edit, and then I suddenly go, I'm going to listen to more, and I promise you the next 3 weeks will be everywhere I go.
The first time you listen to it, put on track 1 and let it lead into track 2.
Yeah.
and yeah, it's
and let the album go.
Honestly, I would listen to it day and day. I've overplayed it, to be honest. It's just one of those. But Dan wasn't massively into hip hop before we kind of started hanging out a lot, and that was the one record they were like, it's just untouchable. It kind of ruins a lot of hip hop for people that aren't into it, because it's just at such a high bar. If you like the kind of conscious, lyrical, that kind of really, it's not all kind of guns and bling, and I love that kind of stuff as well. Of course. But it is the opposite end of the spectrum. It's just such a high bar. It's like Converge for hardcore bands. It's like, well, they've just done it.
Yeah.
You know?
Untouchable.
Can't recommend it highly enough.
Imagine I listen to it now, I'm like, that's shit.
Yeah, for sure. And that's great. That's what's so cool about music.
Yeah,
though,
of course.
You could well within your rights go, this is fucking terrible.
Yeah.
And it's like, and we've listened to the same thing and had opposite experiences. Like, what a fucking joy.
Yeah, it is. And neither of us are correct.
Yeah.
Or wrong.
I'm right.
Yeah, always.
Yeah, but no, I appreciate the attempt there.
So I'm going to go down this rabbit hole now and be spending the next 6 months listening just to that.
Yeah.
And then when I see you again next year, you'll probably see me. I'll be wearing a t-shirt, a hat.
Yeah, I'm ready for it.
Fuck it. I'm looking it on.
Great.
Thank you so much for coming on.
No,
I'll come down to the UK tour. I'm really looking forward to people hearing new stuff in about 12 months.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll be here and you will be playing and not just coming from an Airbnb to hang out. But if you are, let's have a beer, we'll hang out. It's good to see you, my friend. Thank you so much, buddy.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you.
So there's my first interview of 4 from the ArcTanGent Festival. And Conjurer are a band that cannot be missed. Everyone was talking about them all weekend. Their set was absolutely fantastic, and what a great interview. If you tuned in and heard as well, hopefully they'll be touring before you know it. Go and check them out. You'll never ever regret it. And if you've never heard them before, go and stream them, buy their album, support this band because they deserve to be absolutely everywhere. Right, next up is another band from ArcTanGent, and this time round it's Sugar Horse, one of the biggest bands of the weekend, headlining the 3rd stage, and honestly, the tent was absolutely rammed. I love this interview, it's really down to earth, so I think the best thing to do is to get straight to it. So here's me and Sugar Horse talking all things ArcTanGent. I'm here at ArcTanGent with the amazing Ash from Sugar Horse.
Hello.
How are you, my friend?
I'm good, thank you. I'm good. I'm sweaty. It's a long walk from the car park.
Yeah, they don't tell you that, do they, when you sign up to do these things? And
No.
then you suddenly get here and you're like, I can't do that. It's too humid.
It's unbelievable. I can't believe there's no limo service.
But at least there's no rain. And at the moment, I've not got my wellies. So
yeah, true. I don't own a pair, so...
That should be in the contract.
Boy, like
a limo to take you straight to the stage and a pair of wellies.
Yeah.
What I like to do on this podcast is, for anyone that's listening and might be finding out about your band for the first time, is take it right back to the very start. So when you were a kid, what were those first albums that you remember buying that made you fall in love with music?
Oh God. I know the first CD I ever bought, which probably dates me a little bit, but the first CD I ever bought was the CD single of Shaggy and Ali G, Mijuli.
Wow.
And that, yeah.
You tell people this. You could have lied and said something cool. You could have been like, yeah, it's Pearl Jam or Green Day.
No, but then the first album proper was actually cool. The first album I bought was Iowa by Slipknot.
Wow, that's
so
good.
it's a really, it's a big right turn.
How'd you go from Shaggy as a single with Ali G to fucking Slipknot?
Well, I think if I remember correctly, the single was very cheap.
Yeah,
I was a child.
Those 99p singles.
Yeah, exactly.
They're the ones.
Surprisingly, that single was going cheap in Woolworths.
So I don't believe that's what made you then want to be in a band. So maybe Slipknot more.
Yeah, a little bit. After that, I got Master of Puppets.
Wow.
And the Black Album.
That's pretty spectacular.
Which was a good one too. And that made me want to play the guitar. So I'd probably say that.
And what about live music? Because I say it on every podcast, but until I saw a band live, I didn't want to be in a band. I used to listen to CDs, used to love it, read the lyrics, go through the amazing inlays used to get on CDs. Everyone's listening now saying these granddads are talking about something I don't know what they are, but CDs used to have really nice lyric inlays and you could read the lyrics and all the nice photos. It wasn't just a stream on Spotify. But I went to see Green Day as one of my first ever gigs.
Oh yeah.
And it blew my fucking mind. And it made me want to pick up a guitar and be in a band. So was there a gig you went to that you remember as one of your first ones that just absolutely changed your life? Shaggy.
It was actually Shaggy and Ali G.
2 hour special of the same song on my feet.
No, I went to see, it's probably like my third gig, which is kind of mental, but my third gig was watching Metallica. This was like 2006, I think. Between albums, I watched Metallica play at Wembley Stadium.
Wow.
And the lineup was Metallica, Machine Head, I think, Mastodon, the 3Ms, and him, weirdly.
I had Veal Velo on the podcast, and I forgot how big him were.
Yeah. Especially then.
Yes, I wasn't a massive fan. I'm not saying anything bad because fair play, but I just was never into them. It was like you either loved them or hated them, and I just wasn't a fan.
Yeah, it wasn't my bag. And they got, bless them, they did well. They were second on. They were on after Mastodon, which is not...
Wow. I love Mastodon.
Yeah, I love Mastodon. And this was like Blood Mountain tour as well, so it was primo.
Pretty spectacular.
Top of the heat. Yeah, it was a good day. But yeah, that show was amazing. And they played you'd think like the first and only time Metallica play Wembley Stadium, they played just like greatest hits set, right? They played like mad deep cuts, which was pretty cool. But
was it one of those ones where the fans picked the set list? It wasn't one of those, was it?
It wasn't one. I think that was just before they started doing that. But it's kind of cool actually because they've got like this. I think it's called like MetallicaLive.com. And you can go back and go to any gig in the last like 40 years and download the entire set, the
That's
audio
amazing.
for the entire set for like £5 or something. So I've got the audio
gig you
for
were
both of the Metallica shows.
Pearl Jam did the same, but they did it on CD, and I couldn't believe it. Like I saw them in Manchester, and then I could go and buy the CD of the gig, and it wasn't like a bootleg, and it was awesome to then relive that moment.
Yeah, it's cool, and it's weird, isn't it? Like things like that, you don't necessarily remember them with 100% accuracy, right? Because it's all hyped up and super real, you know. And then you go listen to it afterwards, you're like, I don't even remember that happening.
So when did it change then? When was it the moment you then wanted to pick up a guitar and realistically think, I want to be in a band and do this properly? Not just your school and college battle of the bands, like I want to do something that's taken seriously.
I was in like some like terrible bands around like college time, and then like just didn't really know what to do, so just went to a uni that did a music course.
This is what I did. I did music technology in Leicester, and I only did it so I could play guitar.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what I did. I basically just had to like used it as an excuse to get stoned for 3 years. You know what I mean?
It's the best way to learn how to roll a joint is to go to uni and to iron a shirt on a sofa. Yeah. Don't do any proper degree. Just do the music one.
Exactly. But yeah. During that, within the like haze of that, I decided it would probably be a good idea to try and do this, and then it's turned out all right. It's taken a while. It's turned out all right.
So how long the band been going now?
We started in 2015, kind of.
So 8 years.
Yeah.
Does
been a little while.
It feel like that long, or not in a negative way, but does it feel like you've done nearly a decade?
It kind of feels like we've been in it forever, to be honest. Yeah,
that's fair. But are you still absolutely loving it? Are you in the point where you arrive somewhere like ArcTanGent and you think to yourself, we still want to win fans. We want to go on stage tonight, and people that have bought a ticket, and most people here, I think, discover more bands than any other festival. I really do. So is this your golden ticket to win fans and hopefully get extra streams or some merch sales?
I just want to play a good show, to be honest. We don't really think about that too much. We're not exactly like Mersbo, but like we're far too weird of a band to be like, I hope this means that we can do this for a living, because it's just not gonna happen. So you might as well just enjoy it while it happens, you know.
And how many have you got any like dates to announce after this, or are you just taking some time out to write, or how's it looking? Yeah,
so we next month, September, for when this podcast comes out.
It'll be out next week.
Cool. Yeah. September, we're going on tour in Europe with 65 Days of Static, which is nice.
What a great band.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That'd be wicked.
Band.
They're playing is it Wild Light? One of
in its entirety.
Fifth record in its entirety as well.
I love that.
It's pretty good. It's good for us because, you know, it means guaranteed ticket sales.
Yes.
No pressure. You know what I mean?
Full house every night.
Yeah, I think we might just play like police covers for half an hour. You know what I mean?
Or Shaggy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's an even better idea. I don't think I'd get away with doing a Shaggy impression though. Yeah, we got that, and then a couple UK shows with Pianos Become the Teeth, and then a few headline shows to close the year out as well.
Do you still get nervous? As we're sitting here right now, for the listeners, you're going on stage in a few hours, so it's Thursday afternoon. It is Thursday, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, God, I panicked then. And do you sit here still kind of feeling to yourself, Christ, there's a lot of people, I want to really put on a good show? Does it feel pressured, or is it kind of, you can just switch it on now?
So I don't get nervous about the actual show itself. I just get nervous about all of the equipment working. Yep, that's the main point of nerves.
Because it's out of your hands, really, isn't it? The sound guy can fuck it up and not have your guitar loud enough, or the bass too loud, or the vocals not even on, and you're putting all your faith into one guy with many knobs.
It's so we have a long-suffering sound man that comes with us to shows. Sam, shout out.
Big love to Sam.
Big love to the big man. So I'm not too worried about that. It's I've had a couple shows where an amp has literally set on fire.
Fucking hell.
So I always kind of worry about
either,
that.
like Jimi Hendrix. Not cool.
No, not cool at all. During like a quiet moment where it's just me playing guitar, and then the amp starts going like,
and you're pulling out your phone thinking, how am I going to afford another one? Like, shit, what can I sell? Anyone want to buy some trainers on my guitar?
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Anyone want to buy my house?
Yes.
But yeah, that's what I mainly get nervous about, and that's what I'm shitting myself about at the moment.
Yeah.
Like, there are specific equipment related things where I'm like, oh, I know that's not 100%. That's definitely going to break later. But
you got a little pack of fuses in your back pocket.
Yeah, I've got a pack of like everything. It's ridiculous. But yeah.
Wow. So you've got a tour coming up. What about new music?
Yeah, so we're bringing out a little. It kind of gets announced next week, I guess. When this
could be a world exclusive.
Yeah.
I'll put it out tomorrow. I piss off everyone on your label.
I won't specifically say what it is, but
it's an EP.
August 23rd.
EP.
Kind of. Kind of.
Mini album.
Kind of. Yeah. It's not a mini album either. It's
a few tracks.
It's a really long single.
Nice.
Like. Yeah.
So where's the date? So it's not that far away, is it? Like just nearly a week.
Yeah. So like for streaming purposes, you know how nice streaming is now. Everyone's like, I need streams.
Yes.
So we've cut it up into smaller sections to release before So one of the previews will come out next week.
That's amazing.
So someone can hear a 2-minute clip of a song that's far too long.
So how do I hear the full version? Can I buy it on vinyl or?
Yeah. It'll be coming out on vinyl. We're doing a cool. It's almost a picture disc, but it'll be like an etch on one side, and then the whole song is on the other side, which is pretty cool.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
What I do on this podcast, and it's my final question for you today, is everyone that comes on, it doesn't matter if they've been on at the very start or they're on today. I'm nearly at 300 episodes. You get to choose the last song that's played after our interview. It can be any song by any band, but of something that means a lot to you. Okay. People in bands struggle a lot because you've probably got a million songs in your head right now and you're trying to whittle it down. But what's a piece of music by a band or just from a film score or something that you absolutely love that once today's interview is all wrapped up, it's your personal choice and will play out after we've spoken?
Yep, I'll go straight in. Waiting for a Star to Fall by Boy Meets Girl. You can.
Fuck, I've not heard that song or that band for fucking ages. What made you pick that?
It's like our ultimate van song.
Yep.
Every time the guys are down, you know what I mean?
Put it on.
You've just played a gig to 4 people in Scunthorpe.
And 3 of them were your family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're on the way back. Everyone's really depressed eating a Burger King. And you stick on a bit of...
You can afford Burger
Boy
King. I thought you were a fucking small band. Fucking hell. Jesus.
Yeah.
Those meals.
They
large. No, I don't.
insist on paying us in Burger King. That's the thing.
That's all right.
Yeah. There's only so many you can eat. But yeah.
We just plugged Burger King. We might get like Wayne's World style, like a huge delivery of Whoppers now for free.
That would be pretty good actually.
That'd be better than a fucking record deal. Just give us loads of fries, loads of Coke, loads of the slushy stuff, that stuff. And Whoppers for life.
I mean, it would actually feed my family.
Yeah.
So that's kind of...
Whoppers for life.
It's kind of a win.
That's Burger King. Available now with your flaming hot burgers. Sugar Horse's favourite food.
Officially sponsored. Thank you.
Brilliant. So
thank you to Burger King Corp.
Yes. It's been a pleasure speaking to you. I look forward to seeing your set. I've made sure that I'm free for Empire State Bastard onwards.
Oh, amazing.
So I can then... Have you seen Empire State Bastard yet?
I have not. Mike's a good friend, though, so I'm very much... I haven't seen them in person yet.
They're fucking great. I saw them at Download and 2000 Trees, and it's just noise, but it's brilliant noise.
Yeah. I'm into that.
Yes, so I'll see you there for that. Thank you for joining me, my friend. And
cheers, man.
It's a pleasure to have you on. So, there's me and Sugar Horse talking all things music. Again, another great interview, a great band that I only discovered at ArcTanGent, but I've spent the last week listening to them heavily. I love them. I think they've got something really special. I can't wait to see them at their own gig in the near future, and they're definitely one to watch. I really, really enjoyed this interview. Next up is a band called Skin Failure, a band that I unfortunately didn't get to see at ArcTanGent because I didn't get there on the actual Wednesday night, but the reviews were amazing. Obviously it comes from Will from Black Peaks, who's a good friend of the podcast and someone that I love and adore, and it's great to see his brand new project doing so well. Really, Skin Failure are all about having fun, all about having a rock and roll time and just having a fucking laugh. And this is what I love. There's nothing but fun from their sets, and people were talking about it again all weekend, and I can't wait for their tour later in the year. And if you haven't listened to Skin Failure, do it now and then come back and listen. So I think now it's time for me and Skin Failure talking all things ArcTanGent. I'm here with Toby from the amazing band Skin Failure. Here we are at ArcTanGent. Welcome to the Mark and Me podcast.
Thank you very much.
What I like to do with all guests that come on the podcast is take it right back to the very start. So when you were growing up, as a kid? Do you remember those first CDs maybe you bought that maybe with your pocket money or handed down to you that made you fall in love with bands? Were there a certain album that you remember always being obsessed with?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so many. First one for me was All Killer No Filler by Sum 41.
That shows you my age. I'm like an old man when that came out.
It's
a classic.
Technically dad rock now, right?
Yes, that depresses me. The other day someone said, I think it was like dad rock playlist, and I was like, okay, cool, that'll be stuff like The Who, and the first track was Foo Fighters, and I was like, kill me now.
Yeah,
but Sum 41's a great starting point.
Yeah, right, yeah. I think I was like 9 years old or something. Got that. I think it was like a present for Christmas or something. Like, I can't remember, but that just got me into the punk thing, man. Like, I know it's pop punk, but you know.
Yeah, of course.
Into the fast music.
So music changes for me when I see a band live, and when I was a kid, I was lucky enough to see Green Day on their Dookie tour, which is 30 years ago, which fucking blows my mind. But I couldn't believe that there was only 3 people on stage. I was looking at Billy Joe Armstrong thinking there's another guitarist somewhere, but it made me realise the power of live music. Even if I was only 11, I was like, this is amazing. Do you remember, even if it's embarrassing, do you remember your first gig and who it was that kind of made you think, fuck, like, I want to do this?
Yeah, I remember my first gig vividly. My dad took me to the Millennium Stadium in Cardiff to watch Stereophonics, supported by Feeder and Ocean Colour Scene.
Very indie.
I think I was like 10, 11 years old maybe. But that was like, I remember it vividly, and it was, I just from that point onwards, basically, was just obsessed with music, and especially live music as well.
Randomly as hell, 2 weeks ago, I was driving, I had it on, like random, and it suggested to me Stereophonics. I was like, I've not listened to them for fucking 10 years, and word gets around.
Yeah.
And even if fucking people think they're an indie pop band now, those first couple of albums, Performance and Cocktails and what's the debut I just said?
Word Gets Around.
Yeah. Unbelievable albums.
Honestly,
like brilliant songs.
Their first album is probably one of my favourite albums of all time.
There's not a bad song on there.
Yeah, literally All Killer No Filler.
It's genuinely, and that band have just, I know they've gone on and got a bit more poppy and a bit more extra band members, and it just sounds a bit more radio friendly. Yeah. But that first album, you know, 1,000 Trees and all that, they're they're epic songs. They're like anthems.
Yeah. Well, so I grew up in South Wales Valleys, so that album especially is just, all the lyrics and all the songs is just about growing up in the valleys, pretty much. So it like really hits home a little bit different for me. But amazing album, and seeing them live as well, and for one of the first bands I ever saw live, and just from
Kelly Jones's voice live as well, like it's fucking sensational. It's probably better than on record. Like you just there's something about it. And fair play if you saw Feeder supporting them. I had them on the podcast, and I was lucky enough to see them last year in a pub, like a secret gig. But Grant Nicholas has still got it. Like they're fucking awesome. Their early album, like Swim and all the real early stuff, like anthems, unbelievable, like heavier than you remember as well.
Is it Echo Park?
Yeah, that was it. Yeah,
great album.
Fucking brilliant. But where did it all start for you when you wanted to be in a band? Because I don't know the history, obviously, from all the other members of Skin Failure. I know Will from Black Peaks. But where were you? Was it at college you did the whole band thing with Battle of the Bands and all that?
I'm trying to remember. Like, again, I think it was maybe after that Stereophonics gig, I was like, I want to play guitar.
Yeah.
And I got bought a guitar for Christmas, and then I must have been like 10 years old. And just playing guitar, learning for years and years. Going to like secondary school, just started jamming with a few mates basically, and just started forming bands then. I can't really remember like the first time where I was like, I want to do this.
Yeah.
It was just like.
So did you do a lot of bands over the last sort of 10 years through college and school, and then the whole sort of Battle of the Band stuff? And
we never did a Battle of the Bands actually.
That's good. That's credit to you. Every band here has, I think. But
yeah, I think I was in like 3 bands back in secondary school, and then went to music college down in Bristol. And that's where I met the rest of the boys.
That's awesome.
Met our drummer Sam and our bassist Chef. Met them at music college. We formed a band then. Was playing stupid music for like about 10 years, and I know I've just been constantly in and out of bands basically. It's just like I love it.
So how did it come that Skin Failure became a thing? Because I saw your awesome artwork and I saw people, because I was a massive fan of Black Peak, so when they announced they broke up I was gutted because I thought they were fucking amazing. And then for Will to kind of take some time out and then come back, I was like, fucking great, like just to hear him sing again. But it was kind of like a top secret. It didn't feel like you were teasing too much, and then you came out and it was great. Were you just rehearsing behind the scenes and writing and just having fun and thinking what we're going to do?
Basically we started it 6 months before COVID hit, and we were just like so me and Dave, our old bassist, again used to be in Black Peaks as well, me and him have been talking for years about doing just like a little fun studio project, and we're like, let's just, like, no gigs at all, let's just record it, put it out there, just see what happens, like, you know, no pressure, like no plans or anything. And then Paul, our old guitarist, and Sam, our drummer, they were talking about doing the same thing at the same time.
Amazing.
So we were like, oh, right, let's
join
just
forces,
do it all together, right? And then just started jamming in our mate's garage, writing stupid little thrash songs. And then lockdown hit. So me and Paul used to live together, and we just got so bored. We were just like, let's really work on this. Like, let's do it. Sending demos back and forth and everything. And then Dave showed Will at like a Black Peaks practice, like before they broke up or something. Just like, check this out, it's a new thing I'm doing. And Will was just like, dude, this is sick. Can I please be involved?
That's amazing.
It's like, fuck yeah, man, like please, and it's just, I don't know, and then we just started jamming loads and loads and writing loads, and then wrote the album, and then we were just like, you know what, we need to play this live, like let's just do it. And just our first gig was ArcTanGent last year.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And then do you kind of have this mentality, because all your videos on Instagram and Facebook and stuff, like, they're kind of like remind me of the old sort of Jackass videos, because you're all like cutting your sleeves off your tops and getting drunk and in the rehearsal room inviting everyone in, and it seems like this really fun, like, just crazy vibe. And I say that with full respect, like silly, like fun, like we're just having a fucking laugh, we're not taking it too seriously.
100%.
But at the same time you've got some great slots, so you did Bloodstock, you're here, so I kind of, was there a point of where you were like, let's just have fun and have a bit of a joke, but then it turned into this thing where you're like, actually we should probably take it a bit more seriously because you're getting some good slots and everyone's fucking loving you guys, you know?
Pretty much, you kind of nailed it there. The whole ethos of the band, like the whole like core origin ethos was just, let's have the absolute most fun we possibly can. Not take it too seriously, you know, let's throw our middle fingers up to the crowd, let's rip our sleeves off, let's drink loads of beer. And then started playing some pretty cool shows and big shows, and then we're like, oh shit, maybe we should start trying now. We should start maybe doing this.
But we probably should take it seriously and do more than one show. But what's it like now? Because obviously there's an album out there for people to listen to. You've done some big festivals, you've done a little, like a mini tour, didn't you, of a short amount of dates. Do you kind of look at it now in a case of taking a step back and just letting the summer pass, bring in the autumn and winter and maybe write more, or are you, let's fucking keep going and tour this album as much as we can, or how's it kind of feeling for you guys?
Well, originally it was like, right, let's just play like a handful of gigs a year, do like a couple of festivals, couple of big gigs or whatever, and then, I mean, we're all like full-time workers, you know, so
that's the reality of this business, isn't it? Every band nearly on this lineup are going to work tomorrow morning, and it's not the dream that people think.
No, it's brutal. But, so it's like, let's try and fit it around our careers, basically. But it's just kind of snowballed a little bit, and now we're like having so much fun with it, and it's picking up traction, and we're like, maybe we should do a bit more. And we've got a few gigs coming up, like again, like a little mini tour. Say tour, but it's over like 2 months or whatever. Again, just to fit it around our work. Might be another little mini tour towards the end of the year. But we're working on album 2 already.
That's awesome.
Got about half of it ready to go. But I think we're just gonna, during the winter, maybe like December, January, February, just like get our heads down and just
that's awesome.
Write another album, basically.
Do you find it kind of So when you come to a place like this, I look at the poster sometimes, and it might be me just getting old, but a lot of the bands, and I say it with full respect, I do podcasting, I'm a journalist, but I still don't know every band on the poster. Like, there's some I'm like, I've never heard of these guys.
Yeah.
Do you look at it as a chance where you come to a festival like ArcTanGent that's got really good history, it's one of the most kind of varied lineups you can get. I think they give a chance to everybody.
Yeah.
Do you look at it as a golden ticket on Wednesday to come here, play, knowing that, and I say it with full respect, not everyone's buying a ticket to see you guys. They're not, you know, that's not harsh. It's just, you know, there's this, but absolutely. You hopefully win that 40-minute set to win people over. Like, someone's like, I'll go and check Skin Failure out. That sounds a cool name. I'll go and see them. And then that's your moment to kind of hope they leave wanting to get a T-shirt, or they want to go and buy a vinyl, absolutely. Or, you know.
Yeah, I mean, that's why we do the stupid shit here on stage. Got our mascot this year, Bloods McFrenzy, came on with a gong, handing out beers to the front crowd. Got our mate Mel up to play a song with us. My friend Ben from O-Drive's Big Bands came on and shaved my mullet on stage.
That's fucking ace.
It's like, trying to make that big impression on the crowd, right? Especially when we were like 4:30 or something like that.
Well, there's so much to be up against as well, isn't there? So when you think about the other bands and all the other stuff, you want people to leave saying, do you remember that band that had those fucking head shaved? You know, like, it's something to take away. Not just like, do you remember that band that put on a great show and sounded really good, you know?
Yeah, exactly, I think music for me has always been about the live show, right? And
of course.
And it's getting that lasting impression on fans and whatever. Because you always remember the gigs, even if it was a bad gig, you always remember the ones that was like something interesting happened, right?
Well, I follow you guys, and I always see on your Instagram your stories from other people that have been at your gigs, and even though you've only been going just over a year properly on the scene since last ArcTanGent, your shows look like, they remind me of like early basement shows of bands like even Beastie Boys or even Refused.
Right.
They've got that atmosphere. It's like it's not fucking Wembley Arena, but you've got this like small like venue, but you're making the best of it, and you're in the fucking crowd, and Will's there literally in the middle of the crowd trying to get a circle pit going. And even if there's 100 people, you're making the best of it. And I think if you do that and have that energy and vibe, and it's sincere, because the fans see it if it isn't. If you do that for every fucking show, all you're going to do is keep getting bigger and better, surely, because everyone's having a good time.
Exactly, man.
And you leave saying to your friends, fuck me, I nearly died tonight at that show. And how cool is that, though? That's much better. And I've suddenly got no sleeves and I've got a mullet, you know?
Right.
And that was the fucking wife, you know?
Yeah, man. I've always been a big believer in, you know, if you are not having the most, if you don't believe in the shit that you're doing, no one else is going to believe it either. So you've got to have, it's finding that very fine, treading that fine line between arrogance and self-belief.
Of course.
You know, and you gotta,
because you have fun with it. And the thing is, like, and I did say it with full respect, it's like this kind of jackass show, this fun, silly humour. Like Sum 41 when they started out in the skate parks and all that. But you've got the fucking songs to back it up.
Oh, thanks. Thank you.
It's a fucking great album. I'm not saying that. Like, when Black Peaks broke up, I was gutted. But then I can see that there's other bands coming from it. And I can see that Joe's doing other stuff, and I can see that everyone's doing other stuff. And Skin Failure wasn't what I expected Will to do next, but I was like, this is fucking rad.
Yeah, a lot of people saying that, being like, wow, I can't believe you've gone from this really serious, like, kind of proggy metal band into...
Well, touring Europe ready to support a Perfect Circle and Deftones and all this, but
and now you're doing this,
he seems to be having more fun. He just seems to be enjoying himself. And like, I was there when he talked about his low times and depression, and like, one of the interviews we did went on for over an hour, and I really like, we've just connected, and I felt like he's had it fucking bad, like the luck he's had. Like, do you want to go and play this massive arena show in Europe? Suddenly gets ill. Do you want to do this? Suddenly gets ill. And I feel like it was cursed. You know, Black Peaks, as great as they were, and as much as I wanted them to be filling stadiums, there was something that was always against them. Where he can now have fun and let his hair down and just really just fucking just be with his mates, drink a bit of beer and put on a good show. That's what I think he's meant to do.
He actually, so we played Bloodstock last week, and he woke up like a couple of days beforehand with like full-blown laryngitis. And
that's
like,
fucking,
boys, I don't know whether I can do it. Like, I don't know whether I can do it. We're like, it'll be alright, man. Just don't think about it. Don't think about it. Just turn up on the day, even if you still can't speak or whatever. Just go out there and just try and do something. Like, it doesn't matter.
Just make some noise.
Like, it doesn't matter. And then, he was just like, oh, yeah, you're right, actually. I don't have to don't have to give it full beans.
No.
Like, I don't have to put my whole heart and soul into it. I just get up there and just have fun, man. That's
But
all
wasn't
that
he ill
matters.
on Wednesday? Because my friend Ben said that he's, I think, laryngitis or something. He's like, still
Yeah,
got
he
a
was
bad
still,
throat,
yeah, still from last week.
suffering.
Yeah, he was.
And
so
he
rocked
said
up
you
on-
fucking absolutely nailed the set. Like he said on Wednesday night, I wasn't here, annoyingly. I only arrived on Thursday. But
Yeah.
I said to him, go and check this out. And he did.
Yeah.
And he was like, that was all fucking sick. And I was like, good. You know, and he's like,
Yeah.
Will was still arms out like he does, chest up, fucking
yeah.
singing his heart out.
Yeah. He got the crowd to help us on a few bits.
That's
He's
awesome, though,
he's
isn't it?
I can't do this next bit, so you're going to have to fucking do it for me.
I love it, man. I love the attitude. And I think because it's sincere, it's genuine. It's not like, let's pretend we're having fun.
Yeah.
I've seen bands on these reunion tours, and I'm not bad-mouthing anyone. I don't do that on this podcast. But I bought tickets to see System of a Down.
Right.
And it was just forced. It was like, you can see it for a paycheck. And I love the band. They fucking influenced me like anything. But I could see through every single member, like, we're just playing the songs. We're looking at our watches.
Yeah.
Like, what time can we finish?
I'm
Can we-
literally here to pay my mortgage,
yeah,
and then I'm going to
and
fuck
you know,
off.
there's probably some legal bills and a divorce.
Yeah.
And it was so transparent, and I was left to, and I'll never go and pay to see him again. I was gutted. I'll go to one of your shows. I feel like we're part of a family.
Oh,
And if
nice,
someone's
yeah.
passing me a beer and I'm fucking getting drenched, and it's all a fucking celebration of just having a good time,
Yeah, right, exactly.
nothing's going to top that, is it?
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah.
So-
And that's what music should be, man. It
Yeah.
shouldn't be about paying the bills. It should just be about having a good fucking time.
That's why most of my favourite bands are all still working. So Hell is for Heroes, 100 Reasons, you know, they're all bands that are still going to work the next day and
Yeah,
doing
exactly.
a fucking day job.
Yeah, exactly.
What I do on this...
I am actually dreading it now.
Really?
Thanks for reminding me. I've got to go back to work on
I'm
Monday.
sorry, man. So me too, and it's fucking depressing. I come away here and pretend for having a little pass and stuff that I'm meant to be here full time, and then I'm like, oh shit, I've got reality. But what I do on the podcast, and it's my final question, and even though I've done nearly 300 episodes, every person who's been on gets the same last question. And what I do is you get to choose the last song that's played. So after this interview's all edited for the world to listen to on this special, we'll talk about Skin Failure, we'll talk about the tour, we talk about the album, but you get to choose a song that means a lot to you. It won't be your own. I think that's arrogant. I've had bands do that. Bert McCracken from The Used came on and was like, I want my own. I'm like, okay, fine. But
Cool, bro.
anything you want, but I'm putting you on the spot. What's a song that means a lot to you that you love, that you'd love to be played after we've just had this interview and talk today?
Oh, big question.
It's usually the
But-
reason of the song I prefer. So if you pick a classic like Nirvana's Teen Spirit, great, everyone's heard it. But sometimes they pick a band and I'm like, oh, I've not heard them, and then suddenly I've discovered a band and the listeners
Yeah.
have. So it's great.
You know what? Just because we were talking about him earlier, maybe "Local Boy in the Photograph" by
Fucking
Stereophonics.
tune. What
Yeah.
a tune.
Amazing song.
It is.
Amazing song. Gets
And-
me every time.
It does. And
choke
do
up
you know what?
every
It doesn't sound 20 years old or however old it is. It might be
Yeah,
more
yeah.
than that, which is it probably will be actually. Fucking hell. It's probably like 25
definitely,
years.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a great tune.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Thank you for your time today.
Thank
It's
you
been
so
a pleasure
much,
having
yeah.
you on. What I'll do is when the UK new dates get announced and all
Yeah.
this, I'll come and hang with you guys and we'll do another episode and let's
Yeah,
all just
great.
do a backstage gig and have some beers and shape
plenty
mullets
of
and
beers.
We'll do
Lots
it.
of beers.
Does that sound good?
Oh yeah.
Thank
Fuck
you,
yeah.
dude, and enjoy the rest of the weekend.
Yeah, man. Thank you.
Thank you, man.
There's no mistake, I smell that smell. It's that time of year again. I can taste the air.
I can't believe I'm saying this, but that's 3 interviews out of 4 already done. But I've saved the best till last. Holy Fawn. For me, the best performance of the whole festival. They blew my mind. And this is one of those interviews that I didn't want to end. You can hear how we click straight away. The chemistry is there, and I can't wait to get them back on. I really hope we get to see a UK tour again real soon. I just absolutely love everything about this band. And since I've come home from ArcTanGent, it's honestly one of the bands I've listened to more than anyone. I fell so deeply in this hole with Holy Fawn, and they're blowing my mind. And this interview is so much fun. So I'm not going to hold it off anymore. Here's me and Holy Fawn talking all things music. I'm joined with Ryan and Evan from the
Correct.
incredible
Hello.
band Holy Fawn. How are you both?
Great. Thanks for having us.
Absolutely wonderful. Today's been a dream. Thank you for talking to us.
It's an absolute pleasure. You guys, what I do is with every person that's ever been on the podcast, it doesn't matter if they're a director, an actor, a film star, or just a musician or a songwriter, I take it right back to the start. So when you were both growing up as a kid, can you remember that first album that you bought, maybe with pocket money or a friend passed it down to you, that you were like, this is fucking incredible, where you just listened to it on repeat?
Oh man, this is gonna be wild here.
You first, buddy.
I got multiple ones here.
Yeah, I got two, and they're very starkly different.
All right. First piece of physical media was Beach Boys' Surfin' Safari on cassette. I love this. This was, I don't know, man. I had been single digits. I don't know. I was young. It was the only thing I had. My parents weren't like super into music, so I don't even remember how I got this cassette. I think a neighbor gave it to me. I think like a buddy was just like, oh, like I like this. Here, have it. Threw it in the boombox. It's good. Other than that, yeah, I think my other pieces of like my other first piece of physical media was Rammstein and
Wow.
yeah, I think there was I think Blink-182 Dude Ranch as well too. That was just like, I don't know, man. I was trying to take in anything I could, but I remember the first time I heard Rammstein, I was like, yo, there is some serious shit here.
You can swear all you fucking want.
Fuck. All right. Just kidding. No, but I remember the first time I heard that, I was just like, this is, to me at the time, like psychotic. And seeing the album artwork for that album, I was just like, oh, wow.
Do you know, it shows my age, and you're talking about cassettes and stuff, and I had cassettes. I remember someone giving me Nirvana, Nevermind, Guns N' Roses, Appetite for Destruction. But when my parents upgraded to a CD player, and all CDs were like £20, like $20 when they first came out, the first one my parents bought was Pet Sounds.
Okay, hell yeah.
And they put it on.
That sounds classic.
And it was the moment that everyone was like, wow, like it's gone to this digital disc. And they hit play, and I was like, remember when like God Only Knows came on? And it's never sounded as good as that day that I first heard it on like a
The
CD.
separation, especially towards like the bridge of that song, is just so
unbelievable.
You can't match it today.
Perfection, man. They're lightning in a bottle right there. Like
Really,
that exact song, man. I don't know, man. Like, yeah.
I think that's their best song. I definitely
I've never
think that's
heard
their best
harmonies
song.
like anything ever again,
No.
and it's like I wish I was just there to see it live.
Same. I mean, dude, Brian Wilson is an absolute genius madman. Like,
He's gone completely insane now. Like his concerts, they like wheel him out, he plays, and then like wheel him off. But I would still want to go.
if I could time travel and see that, if I could see him now, do any of
Imagine
that
it in
stuff,
the
I
Dude,
would
if we could have saw them back in like 67, 66.
lose my mind.
Are your choices as cool, or are they embarrassing, but you're gonna change it
No,
now?
what's funny
Evan's
is
probably
Ryan
more impressive,
said one
actually.
that is actually the same as mine. Blink-182's Dude Ranch was the first CD I had.
Was it really?
My sister gave it to me, yeah.
Damn.
And fucking loved it. Got me into like, oh, music's really fun. This is really cool, and these guys are funny.
Like derelict
but
pop punk rockers.
going to the library as a kid, they had CDs at the library, and the one that really got me into like wanting to be a guitar player was Black Sabbath's first album. I saw the CD there, and it had like the scariest album artwork I've ever seen, with this like nun just like in a super pixelated, like, I don't know, deep fried creepy fucking cover.
Just deep fried creepy pasta.
And I was like,
meme
oh, this sounds
looking
cool.
thing.
And so I brought that home, and I put that on my like shitty CD player from Walmart, and I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. These guys rip. And so between a weird combination, but Blink-182's Dude Ranch and Black Sabbath's self-titled album, that was when I was like, oh, I think I want to pursue this or dig more into it. And then shortly after that, I asked for a guitar and started trying to learn songs from both of those CDs.
I'm surprised that album wasn't circulating in your house with your dad already, man. Like,
I mean, I was young. I was like 7, you know.
Yeah.
What foundations though at such a young age? Like Blink-182, like they're now back, they're playing, and like it's weird
wild.
seeing new people discovering them. It's like,
oh yeah,
kids are coming up to me like, have you heard Blink-182? I'm like, fuck off.
Duh.
Like,
yeah, I'm just like fuck right off.
Yeah.
Okay,
They've been
like,
huge since the
name 3
mid-90s.
songs.
Yeah, no, I'm like, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's music's super strange. I have two much younger sisters and everything like that, and they're just like they're kind of just in they're in their phase of discovering music outside of like popular media for the first time, you know, and it's wild. Like one of my little sister actually texted me the other day when I had Wi-Fi again. She's like, she just went into high school, and she was just like, I made a friend in biology, and she said one of her favorite bands was Holy Fawn. Can you believe that? And I was just like, what the fuck? Like, I was like, oh my god.
No, I can't.
Dude, I was like, oh, it's probably like their parents or something like that. They probably like pedals and craft beer and all that kind of stuff, or I don't know.
It all so changed for me with live music, and I'm 41, so I show my age, but 30 years ago I went to my first gig, and it was Green Day on their Dookie tour.
Oh man, that's so
fucking
cool.
awesome. And I was looking at them on stage, and I genuinely was only 11. I'm looking at them like this, and I'm like, how are 3 people making that much noise? Like, is there another guitarist hiding? Is there another? And it was before they got all the session musicians and extra people. Yeah. And it was just Billy Joe Armstrong with his guitar singing fucking When I Come Around. And it blew my mind. Like, my rib cage was shaking. Trey Cool was on the fucking drums. And I was sat there like,
that was a special time, man.
I want to be in a band. Like,
that really was a special time for music. Is, you know, the 90s in general, and especially with bands like, you know, Green Day and you know,
fucking Offspring and all those bands.
Offspring,
MTV2, Smashing Pumpkins, Bush.
Oh, man.
You know,
it was
Bush
insane. It
rules.
just,
in
you know, hometown heroes like Gin Blossoms. Even it's just like watching.
We start on Gin Blossoms.
I know, but it's wild. You watch live videos from back then. It really could come out today and be just as powerful and relevant, which is really fucking cool to me. Because like, you know, music, I feel like they have like phases and eras, but stuff from the 90s and bands like Green Day especially, it's just like, if they started today and they started playing out, they would become just as big as they became back then. No problem.
There was just I don't know, there's something very timeless about a lot of those artists.
Absolutely.
The thing about it as well, the music videos had a lot of care and they were iconic. So I would be watching like Beavis and Butthead, and they'd be like, here's Pantera. and I was like, fuck, like, what is this?
Yeah.
But it was unbelievable. And I discovered bands by buying like Kerrang, and on the front it'd have like 12 tracks.
Oh yeah.
And you didn't have Spotify, so it'd be like, check out, and on there might be Limp Bizkit, Deftones, and I'm this is like the way to discover new bands, and you don't get that now.
It was a very different time. So like I know, like, and it's crazy because like I can hear some songs from maybe I don't know if I need to talk closer. If I need to sorry, I'm getting distracted. I can hear
I'll edit this so
I can hear songs that were iconic with my childhood, and I can literally rewatch the music video in my head. You know, media was consumed so very differently, and especially with like I lived over here when I was much younger for a little while, and I remember Kerrang, like the magazine, the TV channel. I don't know what it's like nowadays, but
it just shows the hills on repeat and like living in Paris.
That's terrible. Oh, they went the way of MTV.
Shit,
but no, I remember like Kerrang literally was just nonstop music videos and stuff like that when I was over here, and I was like, this is how I'm finding out about all of my new favorite artists. Like, that's how I found out about Refused. That's how I found out about like, I don't know, like fucking brand new, like Killswitch Engage, like any of these bands. I was just like, I have seen these videos like on repeat ad nauseum, you know, just, and it was so dope, you know. So
same thing. I used to wake up like an hour early every day to watch in America like VH1's top like 30 or whatever, and you know, seeing like Taking Back Sunday or Switchfoot or you know, even like do that Hoobastank video for The Reason. I was like, this shit slaps. This is awesome. And being in, you know, 3rd, 4th grade, it just had such an impact on me.
Music's just like, not consumed that way anymore, though. Like,
no, it's not.
Like, you'll put out a music video, but it's not like gonna be like this.
It's not iconic, is it? It's like,
that's exactly what I was gonna say. Not
like
iconic.
A direct choice in it nowadays, where, or like back then, it was just like what's on is what's on, and you're gonna kind of find stuff you normally wouldn't seek out. Whereas, you know, nowadays you have way more power to kind of choose what playlist you're gonna go to, or what, you know, artist you want to kind of, you know, check and see what they're listening to is. It was different.
Strange, like you were saying, like there's a music video that takes you back to a good time. So I think of like Smashing Pumpkins today when they're in an ice cream van.
Say
And
less.
yeah.
Say
instantly,
less.
it's like I had no mortgage, I had no responsibilities. I'm sat watching Beavis and Butthead. I'm enjoying it, and I'm sitting there going to myself, life is easy. And I'm enjoying this. I'm watching Beastie Boys Sabotage. I'm watching Deftones Be Quiet and Drive. And like,
don't get started on Deftones,
we're not like that
man.
now, are we? We're not sitting there going like Jimmy Eat World music video. Like, I don't even know if they did a music video for their last album. You know, it's
unfortunately.
I don't think a lot of people are like really doing that. They'll put it out as you'll do it because it's like it needs to go on YouTube. It's gonna get extra views.
You're gonna have something for people to watch.
But it's just them playing live. Like, there's no like,
or like a visualizer, you know. And it's like we've been guilty of doing a visualizer before, and it's just.
But I'll make that shit though.
Yeah,
like, like I will be the one that
we
is
will
like
still put
doing that. I will make
energy
that,
into
you know?
it. Yeah.
And I like it. So, but I agree. There's like, I don't know. Especially with like, oh dude, like one of my least favorite things for a band to do is do a fucking lyric video.
I know.
Dude, where it's just like
it's so lazy.
Images of like fucking meteors crashing into planets and it's like
here's
big,
the song
disgusting
with
letters.
subtitles.
Oh, dude.
And it's like, nah, dude, get into it.
Yeah, dude, it's
with fucking font
it's
songs.
shit.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, it just seems like such a lazy.
I'm gonna make you one next week and put it on YouTube. Just
You
to
can
piss
make
off.
one if you want. I'll watch that.
Dislike.
That'll be.
Block.
We'll be the one that is
Yeah,
the thumbs down on that one. No, I don't know. I think that there was a time and place where like music videos were very iconic, like you said. You know, they burn in your head because you love this song. You know the music video, and it's just like we're so far past that now, where it's just like you're just doing it almost out of obligation because like you need like a reel or some sort of like
content just seems to be,
social
like,
media click or something.
Digested so much more differently nowadays, to where it's more quick than, you know, back then, where you could really sit with the music video and like wait to watch it every other day on MTV or VH1
That
or
excitement
Kerrang!
when like even like Papa Roach would come on, you hear that input in riff, and you'd be like,
You
this
know what that music
is
video looks like.
incredible.
Yeah.
In the first few seconds or some 41,
You know
you'd be
exactly
like,
what that looks like.
it's that song.
Yeah.
Oh.
Absolutely.
And it'd be cool to like find a way to like make that come back. I don't know how to do that, you know, like
Maybe like on YouTube, there's like a 20-hour video of like the old days, and you could just put it on and leave it playing.
That's what like our retirement homes are
I
gonna
know,
feel
that's
like
exactly
in
what
like
I was
40,
gonna
50
say.
years. It's gonna
just like
all of us
sit down,
suffer.
Grandpa. We're
Yeah.
gonna put back all of these like Third Eye Blind videos. And
sit down,
shit
Grandpa.
Like that
Here's
listen
Taking
to.
Back Sunday's Louder Now album.
Or like with our walking
No.
sticks.
I mean, like,
damn
we-
sure, Billy.
We no, we God damn it. That fucking sent me. No, but like, you know, we've done some music videos that like you know, we had like a very heavy hand in writing, you know, and Drag Me to the Woods was one of those. I think it's absolutely probably my favorite video that we've done, and it was because we were just like, yo, let's make like a fucking short horror film of some kind, you know, and Evan's getting attacked by a bee, but I really love that. You know, we had a lot of investment in that, and we're certainly not the only band to do that. I've seen so many amazing videos, but it would just be so cool to see that kind of like attachment to like come back, where it's like you've heard that song, you can like rewatch that in your head, you know.
Even nowadays, like, you know, like we've been approached for videos, whether like people come to us with the concept, and it's like, I don't know. I think we like having a hand in like the visual representation of the song.
You want to make sure that it's your names on it.
It's like, hey, we made the song, like we want to have a part in the video
Of
too. We
course.
just want someone to like kind of do their thing to it.
Yeah.
Just some like random person we never met, you know. Which like there's pros and cons to that, having outside influence and, you know, other sources. But I think trying to keep it as much like in tune with what we envisioned, I think is like, I don't know, at least key into kind of keeping it as true as possible.
Yeah, I'll stay awake at night and I'll have like a idea for a video, and I'll be like typing this whole fucking script out on like my notes
You're
on
doing
my
a
phone.
screenplay.
Yeah,
I'm literally doing
story
this.
frame.
And I'll be like I think I'll text the group chat and be like, oh, I think I got a cool idea for a music video or something like that, and then it'll just like, I don't know. I have like probably a bunch just like dying, rotting in my notes category, but like I don't know. We like to do that. It's keeping like that image and that like visual like true to, how we feel with like the song itself, you know.
It's awesome. It's important, and too many bands are just like, yeah, we'll do a music video of just literally standing in a garage playing our instruments, and there's not even any cables from the guitars to the amps, and it's just like
that bugs the shit out of me as a musician. Yeah,
all the amps are off.
All right.
They're not playing. They're not playing.
In all fairness, we have done a couple of those videos, but
we made sure to make sure our amps were on.
We made
those
sure the
lights
amps were
on.
They were plugged in, and even one time, I mean, we were still like playing, we were still screaming, we were still singing and everything like that, you know. Like it was still all very full volume, and we even got the fucking fire department called on us because we had a fog machine running and stuff like that.
Yeah,
that was cool.
That was fun.
Was it? I think we just narrowly escaped a very
Luckily, we
big
finished
fire.
right before they came.
Yeah,
None of us got arrested that time, but
we just didn't even realize that it was happening too. We just heard banging on this gigantic metal door. So we open it up and there's a fucking fire truck out there.
And we open it up and it looks like we're hotboxing the place. There's just all this smoke just pouring out into the alleyway.
Yeah.
Like, what are you guys doing? We're like, oh,
we're doing
making
art.
a music video.
Sorry, you wouldn't understand.
Yeah, sorry to waste our tax dollars.
Yeah.
Were you guys having a gig as good as mine, like Green Day for one of your first, or was it embarrassing? Be honest. Like
a first one ever?
Your first one, yeah.
I know my first one,
Wait.
first one ever was awesome.
Wait, first show like ever in music or as this bit?
not you
watching.
Playing, as in you got taken. You
mine was
went to watch a band.
atrocious, and I don't think about it at all. And I'm sad that I just thought about it again for a brief second.
All right, well, I'm gonna go with mine because mine was fucking rad. So I got to go see. It was a Newfound Glory show in like 2001. And I got to see them play with Finch opening and the starting line as direct support.
Finch, man, they've just announced a couple of shows in the UK, and I can't believe it's like 20 years since they're like What It Is to Burn, and they're again, what a
legends.
band! Like,
yeah.
What a fucking band! Finch is totally underrated as far as that, you know, emo, early kind of like hardcore scene.
You know,
I think
Finch
they
is
obviously
like,
get overlooked.
Obviously, everyone knows them for like "I Want You to Know That" and all that. They're quite poppy songs.
What they need to know is Project Mayhem featuring Daryl Palumbo from Glassjaw.
Yes, but also I can't remember the album. It's got a sun on the front, and it's like a mosaic art piece. It might be their third album.
Sure.
But it's when they really fucking evolved as a band, and everyone was like, "Oh, it's not emo pop anymore."
Yeah.
But it's fucking unbelievable.
It's incredible, and I know their guitar player went off to go. If I'm not mistaken, he went off to go join or found the Sound of Animals Fighting as well too, which is like an incredible super group and everything. But I think that was a huge catalyst for it. They were like, "Oh, Finch isn't just like an emo band."
No,
they're
like
like
got so much more going on about them.
Yeah, they're incredibly talented. Their guitar player's incredible.
It's incredible. How long have we got, Matt? We need to wrap up. A couple of minutes. Okay, cool.
Sorry.
We'll get you guys back through Cody's goal. Yeah, 4. What I do on this podcast, and it's my final question, but what I will do, because I'm enjoying this and I feel like we can talk so much more, is we will get in touch with Good as Gold and we'll set up some time. But one thing I want to talk about is my favourite band of all time is Thrice.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Like, ever. I think
same.
Dustin is the best vocalist. I think Tepe is the best guitarist. The fact that they stayed as the original four for the whole lineup.
It is incredible.
The
So
involvement
rare.
of that band that have gone from major minor to artists in the album. It's incredible.
And every album is so incredible.
Unbelievable.
On their own. Yes.
The Alchemy
They're
Index
unstoppable, man.
The Alchemy Index is a masterpiece.
Yeah.
And I just want to know, and we'll talk about it another time longer, but what was it like when they asked you guys to get involved in the Artists in the Ambulance, like Redux, you know?
It was freaking surreal and just like, are you kidding me? We just got asked to do that? Are you,
All right.
what?
I can explain this in great detail. I know you have to wrap up, but I will try to keep this as brief as I can. I am chilling at home. Our manager Chris texted me, and he was just like, "Call me immediately." So in my head, big overthinker, always anxious. I'm just like, what the fuck happened?
Yeah.
And I really would appreciate a text where it's like, call me immediately, everything's fine. Like, just throw that extra little thing so I don't have a fucking panic attack at 9 in the morning. And he basically relays to me, he's like, hey, I was talking to like Thrice Camp and everything. They were like, they want you to do vocals on Paper Tigers. And I was just like, are you fucking kidding me? Immediately I was just like, yes, absolutely. Tell me what they need. and he's like, how fat, and I got, like, he immediately threw me into a chat with like our label owner and him, and he was like, realistically, how fast do you think that we can like turn this around? Like, how, like, do you need like a couple weeks? I was like, I'll do it tonight. Like, I literally just recorded it in my, like, I literally recorded it at home immediately. Like, had it done that night, sent it over to Riley, and I was just like, or at least when he sent me the files, I was like, I did it that day. I was so thrilled. It's one of my favorite songs on the entire album, possibly one of my favorite Thrice songs of all time. It was an absolute honor.
It must be like pinch yourself every day, like this is surreal. And then you get the vinyl and you see your name on it and you're like,
it's insane.
It's goofy.
We got to obviously we toured with them on that album, and like Eddie had me come up and join him on the mic for Paper Tigers on the last show, and I just fucking wept after. I was so happy. It was a wonderful experience. Like, those guys are absolute wonderful, legendary people. Couldn't say enough nice things about them.
Final question, because I'm getting stared at. What I do on the podcast, every single guest that's been on since episode 1 all the way up to 291 gets to choose the last piece of music that's played. So as the podcast finishes, the guest gets to choose the song that plays after this interview. You're both on the spot. You don't have more than 1 minute. You've probably got a million songs in your head and you're trying to get it down to like 50. But is there a song that means a lot to you both? And you can both choose.
I know I want one. I don't know if it means something to both of us.
Can I just get Bryce?
I mean, Ryan, I'll let you have this one. You pick, buddy.
Spectral Wound, Frigid and Spellbound.
And what's the reason?
I just fucking love that song. I love that band.
That's a good enough reason. What would you have gone for?
Honestly, I don't know. The first thing that came to mind was like Hoobastank, the reason, because I mentioned it earlier.
We are going with.
And I thought,
no,
I don't. No, and that's why I was like, Ryan, have this one, dude. I can't think of anything.
Yeah, we're not having Hoobastank.
It was the first thing that popped into my head on the spot. But
yeah, we're thinking about music videos, and I was like, I don't know why I remember that one so much. But yeah, Ryan, he can have the one this time.
No, but thank you so much
and you're going to come back on, and we'll do a longer.
I would absolutely. We would absolutely enjoy doing that.
We can make this happen, can't we?
Absolutely.
And we'll no time constraints, and we'll just get deep and talk about your albums and live music and everything else. But it's a pleasure to meet you today. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time. Thanks for
having us. Appreciate it.
So that is the final interview from 4 bands at this year's ArcTanGent Festival. And Holy Fawn, for me, are a band you need to go and check out. Absolutely unbelievable. My band of the festival. Don't get me wrong, I had a great time with Empire State Bastard and so many other bands, but for me this was just on another level. You know when you just go and see a band and you don't know what to expect, and then you're just mesmerized, you're so drawn in, you don't know where you are, and Holy Fawn did this for me. And then to get to actually talk to them, have such a great experience as an interview, and just want to get them back as soon as possible is the best outcome and a great end to the festival. I want to say now a massive thank you to everyone that helped me out during my time at ArcTanGent, everyone that came and saw my live set, everybody that hung out backstage, the amazing photographers, the amazing press organisers, the amazing people actually at ArcTanGent that make it all work. So much hard work goes on in the background, and it's all appreciated more than anything. So thank you so much for everyone's hospitality, looking after me, and I had a great time, and I'll be doing it all again next year. And fingers crossed I get a live slot again, because it was such a blast, and it's something that means so much to me. If you've enjoyed today's episode, please share this. All the links are on markandme.com, and it costs you absolutely nothing to do. If you've enjoyed the bands and you suddenly go and check any of them out, please let me know. I love reading people's feedback. It goes such a long way, and those bands need to be discovered and talked about. So if you love them, share them on your Twitter, Facebook and Instagram, and really help these bands out. Again, thanks to everyone for having such a blast. I feel like the summer's just ending and it feels depressing because we had an amazing summer with so many good festivals. But like I said at the start of today's interview, there's going to be a special release of my live set with the St. Pierre Snake Invasion. So it hasn't quite ended yet for you guys. But I just want to say now, if you've enjoyed today's episode, go on markandme.com. Follow me on Facebook, follow me on Instagram, follow me on Twitter. I really appreciate it. And if you're new to Mark and Me and have only just discovered it because of this special, there's another 292 episodes waiting for you. dive back in, listen to all those various guests. I hope you're now on board and have enjoyed today. And I'll be back in only a couple of days' time with another episode. So thanks again to everyone, and I'll speak to you all very soon.